Catwoman number 5, written by Judd Winnick, art by Gillum March. We left off last issue with Selina scoring a duffel bag full of cash, getting attacked by some metahuman with energy whip arm things who throw her basically a mile up into the sky. That's where we leave off. This issue picks up with Selina falling, and there's a flashback to years ago where I guess she was in some other situation with Gwen and some other lady that I don't recognize. And the other lady that I don't recognize was like, hey, look, I know things are bad, but that's where shit gets fun. So get out there and do it. So Selina, as she falls, she's realized, okay, what do I do? Whip. I can whip onto something. I can just grapple. Okay, well, coming down, there's a construction site. There's some steel girders. I'm going to have to whip onto that. Here we go. So she whips onto a girder and she almost like rips her arms out of the socket because she is freaking out so much, but she manages to whip around and lands inside one of the unfinished floors of this construction site. This entire time she is just straight up freaking out, like, and I think that's reasonable, but she is freaking out. She's like, all right, go limp, hang tight, go limp, hang tight, go limp, hang tight, and she does it. So she lands inside there. And she recounts like, all right, so I'm alive, but I just dislocated my shoulder and it hurts worse than I could possibly imagine. Also, that metahuman that just threw me up, she is currently floating outside the floor I just landed on, telling me how impressed she was by my display, but how she is still coming in to kill me. So, step one at a time. So she takes a piece of fabric, I think from her clothing. She bites down on it hard as she moves her arm back into position, which, not a fun thing to do. She says, on a suck scale of 1 to 10, we were circling about a 43. And then she gets up and sneaks around the metahuman who was calling out to her, and she just starts laying into her. And the meta does say something of, you got skills, so tell you what, come on out right now and I'll let you walk on this, but you'll owe me a favor or two. So, I don't know. She was willing to let Catwoman go, or maybe it was just a ruse to get her out. Beats me. Regardless, she starts beating the crap out of that meta. I forget what her name was. Reach. She starts beating the hell out of Reach and basically just knocks her out and takes the money. So she gets away. Then we cut back to the GCPD, and the dude Alvarez, who suspected Catwoman of being connected to all those crimes, he's like, hey, I got another one, Lieutenant, and all I need is your sign off to go after her. And Lieutenant's just like, not now, Alvarez. I am up to my neck in shit right now, so I need you to go back to your desk. And as Alvarez tries to push his case, Lieutenant just freaks out on him. And we see the Lieutenant go into another room, and Alvarez sees that he's talking to detectives Mulrooney, Davis, and Esther, who are all apparently extremely dirty cops. So then we see that he's eavesdropping on the group of them, and that a bag of money that was taken from the evidence room, holding $425,000, was taken by Catwoman, and the police were actually using the metahuman in order to get that to where it needed to be, so they're upset that it's been taken. But all the cash is marked, and if she uses it anywhere, it'll be flagged and they can catch her. So then we see Catwoman find out that it's $425,000, realize that she was tipped off poorly and that this is not just a normal drug money. So she needs to take this, she needs to be quiet, and she needs to go on the run. But first she goes and she spends quite a bit of it because she figures she can get away with like 6 hours before anybody's able to find her. So she goes to a super high-class hotel. She gets champagne, chefs in her room, massage therapist, like manicures, pedicures, the whole works. And as she's getting massage, the guy's like, wow, what did you do to your shoulder? And she's like, tennis. I messed it up on the backhand. So she gives a tip of like $100 to whoever brought in the champagne. And the person who got the tip brought it down to her manager. Manager ran the bill, sees that it's a marked bill, and immediately calls the cops. So then the, I don't know, maitre d', whatever you want to call her, comes back up and is like, hey, there's an emergency staff meeting and everyone here has to go to it, so I'm sorry, Miss Cassidy, we're going to have to leave you alone. Okay, bye-bye. So everyone leaves the room and Catwoman's like, okay, something's up. So the police bust in, whole SWAT team, but Catwoman's already got a gear on and is jumping out the window. jumps down onto her motorcycle, and she's like, all right, well, don't know why there are cops, but regardless, I'm out. And as she drives down the alley, she hits the end, and there's just 4 or 5 cop cars just waiting for her. And she's like, down on the ground. She's like, okay, this seems to be a bit much for just taking a bit of drug money. That this is more so than I thought would ever show up. But she flips around the car, or flips around the motorcycle, goes down the other way in the alley, and starts cutting her way through a park that she knows the cops can't follow her into because the roads are so narrow. But as she's going through this park, she sees the cops are still following her. Like, they're jumping over hills and stuff to get to her. And it's at that point she realizes, oh, wait a minute. That wasn't drug money. That was dirty cop money. That was dirty cop money in Gotham City. Oh, no. And as she crashes to the ground because they cut off her motorcycle, she's surrounded by at least 24 cops, all with guns trained on her, telling her that she's under arrest. So, yeah, that's where that issue leaves off. I liked it. I honestly, I kind of dig the art in this. It's just frantic enough and just stylized enough to be well done, and I really like the coloring on it as well. It gives it just this, I don't want to say dreamlike feel because it's not, but it's a softer feel to it, while the line work itself is more jagged. I don't know. It's a weird contrast, but I like the way it turns out. Writing-wise, it's a good step forward. I feel like, I don't know. She had her roommate, fence friend, whatever you want to call her, killed, and then she just got away with it, and now she's got the money thing, and I feel like this is just going to be another thing where she gets away with it. And I don't know. I want there to be something that moves forward that's like, okay, here's the actual consequences to your art. Like, other people are suffering consequences. She just hasn't yet. And I want there to be something that she actually learns from. Because right now, if you told me what the central focus of this arc is, I couldn't tell you. I have no idea what's going on in terms of a central focus. It seems like it's her learning that there are consequences for her actions, but so far she's managed to dodge like all of them. So, I don't know. I'm interested in seeing if this is finally the thing, because she's definitely going to jail here. Unless somebody swoops in here at the last second and saves her, there's no way she's getting out from 24 armed cops in the middle of a park in the middle of the day. So, yeah. Now, overall, though, I'm going to give this one a 7. I think it's well enough done. There's maybe like 3 pages in the chase scene with the cops that, I don't know, just seem a bit gratuitous and unnecessary, but that's just me. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing if this arc actually solidifies on something or if it's just going to be a loose connection of, and then Catwoman stole more things.